June 17th, 2021. From El Cajon, California, this is episode 235 of You Can Bet on That. Hi, everybody. Welcome to You Can Bet on That, a podcast for the recreational gambler. My name is Mark Duvall, and sitting across from me is Dr. Mike.
Hello.
So a couple weeks ago, Mike, we were driving up to the casino, and we started talking about recent sessions that we've had up there. And we both agreed that we had not even come close to hitting any kind of fire bet, even 4 numbers,
right?
Which is the lowest that they pay at Harrah's Southern California. Not even close.
No.
For many weeks. We were kind of lamenting that fact.
Yeah. Well, we live by the theory that if we complain enough about something, it'll happen.
That's true. It certainly works at our poker home game.
Yes.
Oh, God, I'm getting beat on the river. Oh, yeah. I'm losing so much money. Invariably, things change. You end up being the big winner for the night.
Right. I mean, it's a well-known fact that bitching gets you good results.
Yeah, you can back it up with science. So we headed up to the casino. And I got the dice, and boy, I had a great roll.
Yes.
And all of a sudden, I'm on a 5th number, and it's like, hey, here we were complaining. We've already made 4 numbers.
Right.
And, maybe I'll make 5. And sure enough, I went ahead and made 5 numbers to the fire bet. So that was great. $5 on there pays $1,250. So, we were very pleased. It's like, okay, things have probably changed. So very good. We're very happy. Well, the dice got pretty cold after that, right? To the point where we're like almost lost all of our fire money back.
Right. We're back to where we started.
And it's like, what happened?
Yeah.
Here we're all excited about a fire bet. So we switched tables. We thought, well, let's switch things up. So we switched tables. And I'm having good rolls. Pretty much all night long, I'm having some good rolls. I get the dice again. I immediately come out on a 4. Well, I end up establishing and making 3 4s in a row.
Right.
My point is 4.
Right.
I made 3 of them to start my roll. And I kept rolling, and suddenly I've made 5 numbers to the fire bet again.
Right.
Same night, I'm rolling 5 numbers to the fire.
And then what you said at that point was hilarious.
What was it?
You said, oh, look at that. I'm going to have 2 5s in the same night. And the stickman Mark says, 5? Why not have a 5 and a 6? Why 2 5s? Why not a 5 and a 6? And we're laying into you.
Hey, I'm just being realistic, right? That's all I'm doing.
All you needed was a 10, which was the same number you needed on the other table.
I also needed a 10
you
there?
also needed a 10 there.
So, that's why I'm saying I need a 10. Not only do I need to come out on a 10.
You need to make it.
I mean, that's hard enough. Well, I came out on a 10.
Yep.
And
very next roll.
One of the players at the table laid against the 10.
Several laid against it.
It's always should you do it? I said, no, don't do it. We've hit the fire bet enough times. Now, I don't know how many times now, but, it's not sort of that albatross that,
right.
So I said, no, don't lay anything against the 10. It might have not been the next roll. Maybe
it was. It was
okay.
The very next roll. You rolled the 10, and the table went wild.
Yeah.
And the one guy who had laid way too much money.
Agreed.
Against the 10.
I
laid into him unmercifully.
Because he laid like 3,000 against it.
3,000
to make 1,500.
Right. So when the 10 came up, he loses 3,000, wins 5,000.
Yeah.
And if a 10 had not come up, he would have only got $1,500 more, and he still would have got the 5.
Yeah.
But he would have only got 1,500 more. So I mean, to me, it just doesn't make sense. It's not good value for your money, I guess. But before you rolled, after you came out on 10, I laid into him. He's a regular.
Uh-huh.
And then when it hit, I was so loud. Everyone came running over to see what was happening.
I mean,
and I called it too. If you don't remember, I said, Mark's going to roll it right back.
Oh, yeah.
It's not even a wait. It's coming right back.
You called it. Congratulations. I've got to keep track of all the times you claim that, and I don't come right back with it. But yes, you did.
I called it.
You called it, right. So very exciting. So 6 points. So, we're laughing on the way home about how, we were complaining on the way there. And
yeah, it turned into be a good night.
Yeah. And I didn't post about it or anything. It's just because, I thought we'd talk about it on the show. It's always fun to talk about it when we hit the
Well,
fire
the
bed.
funny thing is that when you hit it, I'm yelling at the guy, screaming, making all this fuss. Everyone's whooping it up. People are running over to see what happens. You sit down, pick up your phone, and continue your Sudoku game.
Well,
As quietly as could be. I mean, you didn't say a word. Just playing your Sudoku.
I knew it was going to take forever. It always does. There's all this paperwork they have
You're
to
one of those
fill out.
guys that scores the winning touchdown in the Super Bowl and just hands the ball to the ref and walks over and sits down on the bench.
Well, you're absolutely right. If that were me, that is what I'd do. Maybe I high-five some of my teammates when they were good. Good job, Mark.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, I've been here before. I've done this before.
So anyway, we were very happy. Well, we returned to the casino the next week, and it started off pretty poorly, wouldn't
Yes,
you say?
as
We were
usual.
talking about how,
Yeah.
oh no, another losing night. And then you got the dice, and you immediately made a 4 and a 10 as
Yes.
your points.
Yes,
you made
back
them.
to back.
And that's always kind of nice because it's like, all right, if there's any, potential for a fire bet, it's nice to get those difficult ones out of the way, right? And then you made a 6 and an 8.
Yeah.
This was pretty quickly.
They were back to back. I mean, I
Yeah.
came out on 6, rolled to 6, came out on 8, rolled an 8.
Because I was thinking to myself, well, okay, I am making some money here. You're repeating some numbers.
Right.
But you're not having a monster roll yet. You've just
Right.
made 4 unique points.
I don't think I rolled anything else but points. I think I rolled 4 points.
that could
the first
be
4.
maybe a couple numbers in there.
Well, I think it was after
in
the
there.
first 4 because
Yeah,
I was
it could
bragging about they're coming right back. They're coming right back.
So then you came out on a 9 and you made a 9.
Yep.
And so I think at this point I'm saying something like, wow, a couple of 5s and a 6 in 2 weeks. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
But no, you had more up your sleeve.
Yep.
You came out on a 5
Right.
and pretty quickly,
Yeah. Within a couple of
Made
rolls,
a
made the 5.
and doggone it, another 6-point fire bet. I rolled one week. You rolled one the next week.
Right.
And, it's funny because as soon as you had made all 6 numbers, you were still rolling. Our good friend Andrew, who was visiting from out of town, came up to the table. It was right after you'd made all 6.
Right.
Hey, how's it going? I said, well, Mike just made 6 to the fire bet.
Right.
And we were coming out, so we got Andrew into the game. Now, it's always, a
Yeah,
little
it's
scary
like-
when you
right.
bring somebody in. It's like, oh, great, he's missed out on this huge role, and then nothing's going to happen on that. But you went on to continue to have a fantastic role. That was what was so exciting, was it was after the fire, because when I
Yes.
hit my fire bet, I came out on another number and then immediately sevened out. It was
right,
over.
right.
But man, you continued to roll. And that's when we actually started making money, on the craps game.
Right. And
as
they
well.
were maxed out.
Yeah.
I mean, I made so many hard ways. And several of the players had the hard ways maxed, which is 400.
And they were points in most cases,
yeah,
right?
in
you
most
would
cases
make it,
they
and
were
it was
points. Yeah, tens,
Yeah.
several hard tens.
Yeah.
I repeated every number twice, but I made the first 6 without any repeaters, just boom, boom, boom.
So we were glad that Andrew won on that
Andrew
roll.
won on that
And
roll.
He had
He
a
had a
very
pretty
good
good
night,
night, yeah.
as well. And we were joking. We were saying, remember in the early days of the podcast, we would talk about how, oh boy, when are we going to hit that 6-point fire bet? When is it going to happen? And it seemed like something that was so far in the future.
Yeah.
And we eventually did. And now we've hit several here 2 weeks in a row. That's what everybody, of
Yeah.
course, was talking about.
Yeah, the casino was a buzz, and the dealers cleaned up.
Oh my
'cause
gosh!
they
I
had
think like 14,000 they got on
16
mine, and then 16 on yours.
mine.
Yeah.
And because of hardways, they were on all the hardways with all of us guys who were making hardways. One of the dealers told me they dropped another between 5,000 and 6,000.
So yeah, absolutely fantastic. So,
Yes, it was a monster roll.
yeah. I mean, it just to happen 2 weeks in a row. So let's talk about one more thing that they have at Harrah's. They've got this thing called the Impressive Progressive, and when you make 6 points to the fire, they spin this virtual wheel, this electronic wheel, and it lands on either a money amount or a percentage of these jackpots that keep growing. There's a mega jackpot and an ultra jackpot. The ultra is casino-wide, and that usually hovers around $1 million. Usually maybe more like 800,000, but it's
it's
up
been
there
over
high.
$1 million
Yeah.
lately. Yeah.
So when you make 6 to the fire, this virtual wheel is spun. Now, if you have repeated some numbers before you make all 6, this virtual wheel, the entries on the wheel aren't quite as good. as they are if you roll all 6 numbers without repeating any.
Right.
Now, I had repeated some. In fact, I said right away,
You
I made
repeated a
4s,
lot,
right?
right.
But you made all your numbers. You didn't repeat any. You went
Right.
like 4, 10, 6, 8, 9, 5.
Right.
And that was it. Let's talk about those wheel spins. So without going into a lot of details, because I know it can get confusing, they spun it on my 6-point fire bet. And it turns out there were 4 people who were on this impressive progressive, you and me and a couple of others. And we spun and we ended up getting, what? It was like $1,400.
$1,480 and some cents.
Like 75 cents.
Yeah.
Each of us got.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a letdown because we spent $5 on the impressive progressive, just like we did on the fire bet.
Right.
Here we get, $1,000 for one, so we get $5,000 for the fire bet. And then on this impressive progressive with these huge numbers on the display, we only get $1,400. Oh, well.
Yeah, the only good thing about it was we got 75 cents and they gave us a 50-cent piece.
That was nice, 50-cent piece to quarter.
Yeah.
Well, when you rolled yours, again, I won't go into specifics, but after the spin, there were 5 of us on it. We got about the same amount.
Yeah, we
about
got $1,528 from $1,480 to $1,528.
Even though yours is so much harder to do.
So much harder,
right?
right, very.
Rolling 6 with no repeaters.
Right.
So everybody kind of complains about those big, quote unquote, payouts on this impressive progressive. And it's all behind the curtain.
Right.
We have no idea how it's calculated, how randomized these
the
spins
wheel is
are.
so stupid because it's not like a wheel that somebody spins and it's just luck or how hard you spin it. It
Right.
just goes around once and then stops on some number. I mean, they could just flash up a number and say
Yeah.
that's what you won.
Yeah.
We have no way of knowing what goes into that.
Right. And it's sort of left a bad taste in the mouth for a lot of players. I know I was talking to some craps players who say, oh, they don't even play it anymore.
Right.
Because, you can't tell. And it seems like you're
Right.
getting ripped off. Now, again, you still win money, but, you'd think it'd be a little bit better than, what people have been getting.
Well,
So-
you think the ultimate in craps is to roll 6 with no repeaters.
Mm-hmm.
So you would think that would pay significantly more than other bets.
Yeah. You'd think that it would pay at least as much as a regular fire bet.
Right.
And probably more. Anyway, we bring this up only because it was a big part of, us hitting these two. So I don't want to sound like sour grapes because it was still,
Yes.
shoot, it was like $1,500,
Right,
that kind of
right.
thing. So it's still something. And, we had very good nights. But I did want to bring it up just because there's a lot of rumblings, at least amongst the players, that, hey, what's up with this impressive progressive?
Yeah, I mean,
How
they make a
impressive
big
is it?
deal out of it, and it's not very impressive. And it'd be better if there was a real wheel that the person who rolled it, actually got to spin a wheel.
Yeah.
That would make you feel like, okay, well, it was my luck, or, but it's just this virtual thing.
Yeah, and it's clearly not random.
And you don't even get to push the button. Just one of the dealers pushes a button.
That's right. You don't even get to push it.
Yeah, it's
All right.
weird.
Again, I don't want to sound like sour grapes. It was fantastic.
Yeah.
2 weeks in a row, fire bets. We've really got our work cut out for us this weekend.
Yeah, and this weekend we need to impress. I mean, we both have to do it at back to back or something.
That would be the best 2 in one night.
Yeah.
Well, it's amazing enough that you and I were the ones who rolled it.
Right.
Right?
Right.
It could have been anyone on the table, right?
Well, this week we'll do it back to back,
Yeah.
and then we'll just color up and just walk with his strut out of the casino.
Yeah. Sort of angry a little bit.
Right.
Yeah.
We're too good for you here.
Yeah. This is the last time we come to this casino. Bring my car around.
Yes.
All right, so on our last episode, we got a call from a listener who said they went to Tropicana in Las Vegas, and Tropicana only had one craps table. And we thought, boy, that's pretty unusual for a strip casino. We were thinking, where have we really seen that on the strip anymore? And then listener Jim wrote to us and suggested that what the caller meant was that there was only one craps table open when they went to the Trop. And if we'd thought about it for a couple seconds, we probably thought, oh, yeah, that is
Right.
probably what they meant. So, and in fact, that must have been the case because just this last week, Scott Robin posted a picture on Twitter of the casino floor at the Trop. And there's at least one angle where you can see 2 craps tables, at least 2 craps tables. So,
Right.
yeah, that must have been the case.
Well, in most cases, what someone says and what they mean and how it's perceived can be completely different things.
Sure.
So, take everything with a grain of salt.
And, I'm very literal. Just listen to me at the craps table, right? When you
Right.
say something like, I knew that was going to happen.
Yeah.
And well, Mike, if you knew that was going
Right.
to happen, and then I look like a jerk, and I am a jerk, and there you go. So I took this quite literally as the the trop only having one craps table.
Right. You can't do that with people because it's just not the way people think.
That's right. Oh, we also got an email from listener Chad, and I'm glad he sent this in. I'm going to read this to you. He said, I've heard you discuss roll to win craps several times, but I haven't heard you discuss the feature I see at Barona. That's one of the local casinos here. From time to time, after all bets have been set, the odds on one roll bets and or the hard ways will boost for one roll. I hit a yo there last night that paid 22 to 1 because it was boosted for that roll. Is that a Barona thing, or is it found on all roll-to-win tables? Now, I don't know if it's found on all roll-to-win tables, but I have absolutely seen it at the roll-to-win tables at Harrah's.
Right.
Yeah, I've been there before where I'll see, oh gosh, Big Red, any 7, it's going to pay 8 to 1 on this roll. Why is that? You see it increasing. Right. And again, it's only after all bets have been set. You can't catch it and I'm going to get there real quick.
Right.
It's like maybe you'll get lucky. It's a way to incentivize you to,
make more bets.
Make more of these prop bets. Yeah,
right.
one roll bets.
If you make every possible prop bet, chances are one of them is going to pay better than normal.
Yeah. So maybe it's something the casino can set. I assume that it is. But yeah, watch for that. Again, the roll-to-win tables are the electronic tables where you actually roll dice. You make all your bets at a terminal, but then you roll dice, and there's a stick person there that actually brings the dice in and enters the dice roll into the computer. So, yeah, it's these boosted bets. Keep an eye out for them.
And how do you think this is all determined?
Again, I don't know if it's based on how many bets it sees out there. I would like to think that it's randomized in some way. Randomized, obviously, in a way that the casino would not lose money in the long run. Randomized in some way that a player might not be able to tell when it will happen. But who knows?
I think somewhere in a back room somewhere, there's some small mouse on a wheel running, and the wheel's just constantly going. And it occasionally, when it stops to take a break, whatever the wheel falls on is what is increased.
Okay, it's a mouse.
Yeah.
I'd like to think that it's a chimp.
You think it's a
chimp? An animal with a little more intelligence that every once in a while just says, yeah, I'm going to boost the hard 8.
Yeah, okay.
And he presses the button.
Well, that'd be fun. What if it was just some mythical creature?
Uh-huh.
Not even
like a griffin? You're thinking like a griffin?
Yeah, or something, a troll. There's this huge troll. I mean, they've got a whole room in the back. It's monster huge, like 8 stories. People are like, why is the casino only 5? But back in that corner, it's 8 stories.
Yeah.
Because there's this big troll who's in charge of increasing bets. He also does the impressive progressive wheel, too.
Oh, well, that would explain a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm actually guessing it's a random number generator in the computer, but these are all good ideas.
Yeah. A random number generator. Those aren't real, Mark.
All right. And one more email, too. We got an email from Tim. He says, I've listened to all of the episodes, and I'm pretty sure no one has asked about each of your dice throwing routines. If you could mention how you roll the rocks. For example, do you just grab and throw low? Do you throw them high with spin, etc.? Thanks, from Tim. And maybe we've talked about this in the past a little bit, but let's talk about it now.
Yeah.
I'll just say for me, I'm pretty simple. I grab them and throw them.
Yeah. And not low or high, just in the middle. You just toss them down.
I really am trying to hit the back wall.
Yeah, or anyone's hand who happens to be in the way.
Oh, I like aiming for hands.
Yes,
I like to see. I shoot for hands. Sometimes I'll actually kind of pick them up and then throw them right away. Other times it'll be one motion of me picking them up and rolling them.
Right.
But sometimes when I do that, I end up dropping one of them, or it doesn't go far enough. So, to be safe, I usually pick them up, but then I immediately throw them. Every once in a blue moon, I'll think, okay, I'm just going to take my time here, set the dice to a 33.
Well, you went through that one period where you were setting it on hard 4. You were always setting it on hard 4.
Yeah. But those days are pretty much gone.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about you, Mike?
And we don't have time to screw around now. We need to keep the game moving.
That's exactly right. That's my thought too. I went, come on.
Yeah, the dice come. I used to, at times I'll set it on 9 every time, or I'll set it on 5. I would just randomly pick a number like 6-3 or 2-4, and I would set it to that and then roll it. And sometimes, remember, I went through that one period where I'd go 1-1, 2-2, 3-3.
Yeah.
And then I'd start over because then I could keep track how many rolls.
I kind of like that, actually, yeah.
But nowadays, I just pick them up and roll them, and I'm usually sitting next to the stick.
Yeah.
It's my favorite spot. So I try and roll them so they circle around the table.
Yes, that's right. I've seen them, you kind of whip them to the side.
Yeah.
Sometimes catching the glass on the side.
Catching the glass, and then they slide around the whole back. and they usually end up somewhere up by the dealer stack.
Yeah.
And they all know to keep their hands up.
Yeah, because Mike's rolling. I guess they're used to that at Harrah's. If you hit the glass too much at a casino where they don't know you, sir, please, aim for the back.
Yeah, don't hit the glass. They've never told me that at Harrah's, not once.
Yeah. But there have been times where I've seen you do the real high arc.
Every
the
once
kind
in a
where
while.
you're trying to get the dice to just die right at the end by the bumpers, right?
Every once in a while.
Yeah.
Usually that happens, if you take real good note, that happens when there's a don't player on the other side of the table. And I'm aiming for their chips, actually, on the don't pass line.
Yeah.
And I just arc them real high and hoping to hit their chips and splash them.
Yeah. So, we don't believe in dice influencing that kind of thing. So we're not big on setting the dice. I mean, if we do it, we're doing it for fun. Let me put it that way. If we ever do set the dice, we're kind of doing it for fun, pretending to be superstitious or whatever you.
And I don't mind people setting the dice or doing their routine as long as it's quick.
Yeah.
But when it's not quick, there was a guy recently, you weren't there, it was a Thursday night, and I actually started timing him.
Yeah.
And the stick person, she got a big kick out of me timing him. But I mean, at one time it was like 32 seconds, 34 seconds. From the moment they got the dice in their hand,
this is
34 seconds before they rolled.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like, he was going through all this rigmarole.
Well, a lot of times you have players who take the dice and throw them, towards them to kind of do a pre-roll,
like a mini roll.
And they want to see what they come out to, and they keep doing that until they get something, and then they still set them and go, yeah. As long as it doesn't take too long, and if you're going to set the dice to certain numbers, know where those numbers are on the dice related to the other numbers, right? Because you see people look, where's the 4? Yeah. Where's the 4 on the dice? And
they've got the 3 on the top and they're looking for 4. Well, it's right underneath, okay? Yeah, that drives me crazy. I understand it's part of the game and stuff, and a little bit I'll put up with, but too much of it, it's like, okay, you better have a good roll. Otherwise, this is all for naught. You're just slowing the game down, wasting time.
Yeah, you better have a good roll. You better know what you're doing. So I guess our answers, again, are kind of boring. We just pick them up and throw them for the most part. We're not looking for them to land a certain way because we think certain numbers are going to come up.
And I'm waiting to see something I haven't seen. I'd like to see somebody have some ritual I haven't seen because we've seen them all. One of my favorite is this one guy who's at RingCon a lot who plays with the dice a certain amount, then sets them back down, and then resets the sleeves of his shirt. He moves his hand in order to reset the sleeves of his shirt, then picks them up and rolls them. I love that, as if something the way his shirt is affects the roll. Now that is a dice influencer.
And,
he's got it down to like how his shirt is sitting on his arm affects the roll.
When a guy like that immediately sevens out, because inevitably a guy like that will.
Right.
I feel like asking them, what went wrong?
What was the issue? Well, you know what it is, Mark? And I'll tell you right now, there's a simple answer to that. He just wasn't trying.
Yeah, exactly. He wasn't trying.
He wasn't trying.
Yep. There's a player out there, Tim. He doesn't like it when the players don't try.
Yeah.
Just, at least try.
Yeah, they're not trying.
Yeah. Hey, thanks to everyone who's been clicking through our Amazon link. Remember, whenever you're going to buy something through Amazon, please go to our page first, youcanbetonthat.com, and click through our Amazon link towards the top of the page. All right, let's move on to some voicemails. First up is August.
Hi, guys. This is August. Haven't called in a while. I just had a couple of stories for you. So I never do well on the Derby. It's just so hard to hit with all those horses. And this year I did well. I was looking at that super stack, Johnny Velasquez and Bob Baffert, and I was like, I'm going to take a shot on this. I moved some horses around just in case the favorites win. I did a few exactas, but I hit the win, place, show, exacta, trifecta, and daily double, which was great because the 50-cent trifecta, I think, paid like over $800 or something. So on that one race, I think I cleared over $1,200. I also had the late pick 5 going. So I singled the first race, which I think was like a 4-1. And then I hit the second race with just 2 horses. And then I hit the Derby, and I think that horse was like 15 or 12-1, something like that. So I'm feeling good because, the Kentucky Derby late pick 5 pool, that thing's going to be, I don't know, $2 million. There's a ton of money in this pool. Because I singled the first leg, I got to hit the all button in the last race. So I'm like, I only have to hit, I think I had 2 horses in the 4th leg. I was like, I just have to hit this and it's going to be a huge score. And unfortunately, my horses placed like second and fourth or something like that. And then the favorite won the last race. So if I switched it, if I had hit the all button in the fourth leg, which I think was like a 15-1 or something like that, and then singled the favorite in the last one, the will pay on the 50 cent was $40,000. And it's just like, man, this happens to me so often. I'll send you a screen recording of a couple months back. There was a mandatory payout for the pick six for the Belmont. And I hit the first 5 legs. I'm going into the last race, and I have 5 horses. And I'll send you the screen recording. I swear to God, my horses placed second, third, fourth, and fifth. And I was just like, how is this even possible? How can you be so cruel? You hit 5 out of 6, you get 0. I'd almost rather just hit 1, because the problem is when I hit 5 out of 6, I keep coming back because I think eventually it's going to happen. So that was my horse racing bad beat. And then I just had 2 other things I wanted to share about. The first time I ever played craps after listening to your guys' show, I buy in, and it was one of those where just I couldn't do anything wrong. I did like $10 on the pass line, full odds, 1 come bet. The shooter hits my come bet, and then the point, I win all my bets. And then I'm like, let me try the don't. So I do the don't, he rolls a 2. And then I'm like, I'm going to do the don't and the field. And he rolls like a 3 or something. So I win the field and the don't. So I literally just won every single bet in 10 minutes. So I cash in for 90 and I cash out for 505. And I'm like, wow, I'm hooked at that point. And then just real quick, at one point you guys were talking about roulette strategies. And what I like to do is pick one heavy number and then just all the numbers that are close to it on the wheel. So my big number is 20. I'll put 50 straight up, and then I'll split the 1720, the 1920, the 2021, and the 2023. So if it hits, I hit big. And then I'll put like a nickel on the 5, 7, 11, and 32 because it's close to it on the wheel. So if I hit any of those, I get my money back. And if I hit 20, I hit big. So that's how I play. All right. Have a good day, guys.
All right. Thanks, August. Yeah. One of the worst things you can do as a gambler is almost win.
Yes. Almost winning is destructive.
It keeps you coming back to the game, especially in something like poker. The person who loses the most money is the person with the second best hand, right? If you've got crap, you get out early. But, if you got a pretty good hand, then, you end up losing because somebody's got a great hand. Yeah, that's terrible.
The reason that happens is because, it's the gods of gambling.
Sure, gambling gods, yeah.
Yeah, they want to get you. I was trying to find the mythical god of gambling. I don't know who that is.
Oh, you were trying to look it up there?
I was trying to look it up. I don't know who the mythical god of gambling is. Yeah. Let's just go with Loki.
Okay. Yeah, mischief. Sure, there you go.
Kind of like screwing with you. It's like, I was that close. I got to bet it again.
All right. I agree with that. Good. Yeah, good call. All right, let's go to the next call. The audio's not real good here. I think maybe he called from inside a car, but I think you'll be able to make it out. Here's Logan.
Yeah, this is Logan. I have a question regarding Dr. Mike and Mark's betting strategy, if they even have a strategy. Does Dr. Mike go across for $900 to hit on any number come up, and does he press those numbers? And after the second hit, does he regress down to like 600 or 300? And if I remember right, Mark plays a gets 2 come bets. But if he does place numbers, do you guys regress to take profit and then play with house money after, or you guys get put across and press till the 7 comes up? Thank you.
I'll just answer first. I haven't done this in a while, but there was a period where I was making $60 place bets on the 6 and 8. And as soon as one of them hit, I took them both down to 30.
Right.
And kind of playing that way, hoping to get, that initial hit and then play out the rest of the roll like that. I haven't done that in a while, but it's kind of, if you hit that 6 or 8 right away, it's like, oh, okay, good. I'm sort of guaranteed a profit on this roll. And then, you can just play however you want after that. How about you, Mike, as far as your place bets go?
I think this is for both of us. We don't stick to a certain strategy very long.
You're right.
We seriously, we play a certain strategy, and then after a while, we kind of like get, I don't know if I want to say bored, but we try something new.
Yeah.
And so we're kind of always changing our strategy. We're not firmly set on one thing.
Yeah.
I have personally never played a aggressive strategy. Maybe seldom I've done it once or twice, but never for a whole night.
Yeah,
where I
never
bet
for a whole
more.
night. I have seen you do it though, because you've
Yeah.
seen some other players do it.
Right.
I mean, like with some significant money, like put
Yeah.
300 each on the 6 and 8, and then go down to 60 or
60,
something. I mean,
right.
really pull back.
Really pull back. Yeah, make huge bet, give it 2 rolls, and then pull
Yeah.
back.
You tried that a couple times, but those devastating immediate
Yeah.
outs, that's what really kills
They
you.
kill
Yeah.
you, and it's not that much fun. So
There you go.
I
Okay.
haven't really done that much currently right now. And it's funny because the dealers are always, you changed your strategy, because I'll play the whole night the same way.
Yeah.
But currently now I am putting a line bet
Yeah.
with full odds.
Yeah.
And then when the point is established, I take the opposite. So if it's 6, I place the 8.
So you place the what they call the place side.
The place side.
Yeah.
So if it's a 5, it's the 9 I place. If a 4 comes up as the point, I buy the 10.
Right.
And then I make come bets.
Yeah.
And I get about 3 numbers up there with full odds on come bets, and then I just wait for something to hit.
Yeah.
And then as it come down, I make another come bet. Unless the roll gets going really well and I'm ahead for the roll, then I start converting everything to place bets and pressing.
Yeah, yeah.
And typically, if I am just making place bets, which I was doing previously, I always will collect 1 or 2 and then press after that.
Yeah.
So hoping to get some of my money back initially and then pressing the rest.
I'm glad you brought that up because, we do kind of change our styles because, there was a period there where I was just placing the 6 and 8.
Right.
Pass line, just placing the 6 and 8. Yeah, currently, since we're playing at these high limit tables, like $50 tables, I'm pass line bet and 2 come bets with single odds.
Right.
Right. And that's all I do. And again, when the dice are on the other side of the table, I'm usually betting the don't. Same kind of thing. $50, don't pass, a couple of don't come bets, and single odds. But you're right. Well, 6 months from now, I'm probably going to be doing something completely different.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think the reason is because we kind of, and I would advise this to everybody, adjust our play according to our bankrolls at the time.
Absolutely.
So what we have in our stash of gambling money.
Right.
So it's either means being more aggressive, less aggressive, bigger bets, smaller bets.
Yeah, right.
And we also, the mood of the table. So if we're having a good night and things are going well, we might tend to get a little more aggressive.
Sure.
But if it starts to go bad, then we revert back to or we leave or whatever. Right. So I think we're constantly changing.
Yeah.
Some people don't. I see people.
Sure.
There are people out at Rincon and, friends of ours, nice guys, they play the exact same way every time and they never change it up.
Yeah. And I'm sure they enjoy that.
Yeah, right. Yeah. It's the way they like to play.
Right. So again, we want to emphasize, we're not saying that these are winning ways because, again, this game cannot be beat just, straight up. So this is what we like to do. We
like
change
to
things
keep it
up.
different.
But your advice on changing your bets, adapting to your bankroll, I think that's very important.
Yeah. And there was a guy out there recently. He was one of those people who makes a bunch of bets and then for whatever reason just randomly increases some of them. A 5 hadn't come up, but he wins on a 6 and he presses the 5.
Yeah, all right.
Or whatever, and he started off with $25 on 5. He got it up to 100. It hadn't hit.
He just kept pressing it based on other things.
Based on other numbers. And then he got, a couple more rolls. It hadn't hit. He pulled it down. And then 3 5s in a row came up and he didn't have it. And I looked at him and I said, you had it to 100 and then you took it. Oh, I know, it's that regretful thing that I can't stand. So if I'm going to do something where I'm pressing something, I'm leaving it there. I'm not putting them up, taking them down, putting it up, taking it down.
And that's a personality thing.
Right. It's a personality thing. It's too hard on my psyche.
Right.
Now, maybe him, it doesn't bother. Well, anyway, it's one of those things where everyone else is winning, and because you're going back and forth and willy-nilly kind of gambling, you end up losing. I can't take that.
Yeah, but again, I think that's a personality thing, and
right.
If it is good or bad, well, the results will bear that out. But,
right. I like to play a certain strategy, stick with it until it's obviously not working for me, and then I'll switch to a different strategy and I'll stick with that.
Yeah, sure. All right, next call.
Hi, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is Steve from Gambool.com. Just wanted to give you a quick trip report on my pre-Memorial Day trip to Las Vegas. Started off on the Strip on my way to staying at the Plaza downtown, and it was so cool to see everybody out and about without masks and loud and just that party vibe on the Strip that we've all gotten used to and we all remember. There was even a homeless guy without a shirt drinking a tall boy Bud Light, screaming profanities at random people. So Vegas is kind of getting back to normal. I'm a low roller, so I stay downtown looking for $5 craps tables. And as you guys know, those are becoming a thing of the past. I did find at the California $5 craps during the day. I didn't go there at night, so I'm not sure what the night situation is. At least you can find a $5 table during the day at the California. Across the street at Main Street Station, I was going to check that out, but it's still closed, so I don't know what's going on there. Checked out Circa, and that place is incredible. It's kind of weird to get carded. I'm 52 years old, so I haven't been carded in a while, but once you get inside, that's just such a fun vibe with the big TV screens and the sexy dancers on the tables and the loud music. And upstairs at Victory Burger, I had the best thing I ever had in my life, the Captain Crunch milkshake. Comes highly recommended. At the Golden Nugget, the minimums were $15 on the craps table during the day, so I played there a little bit, and that's where I did the Dr. Mike bet. I call it the Dr. Mike bet because of a caller a few years ago who asked about parlaying a hard six. And Dr. Mike, as he's wont to do, recommended getting aggressive. So he says, bet 5 on the hard six and then parlay it 3 times. And if it hits, and you'll have $1,000 or $5,000. So I did that. I put 5 on the hard six. It hit. So I had 50. I parlayed that and it hit again. So now comes the moment of truth. I have $500 on the hard six. Do I parlay that?
No.
Again, I'm a low roller. I bought in for $150, so that's a pretty good chunk of change for me. Do I have the guts to leave it out there? I did not have the guts. So I pulled down and took my profit and spent the next few rolls praying for a 4-2 or a 5-1. And a few rolls later, the lady 7'd out, so saving me a lifetime of regret. I didn't do the full Dr. Mike bet this time. Maybe in the future I'll have enough guts to leave that hard six out there. Anyway, love the show, and thanks for all you guys do. Take care. Bye.
I've got a feeling that when he finally does it, he'll be on a roll and he'll be up and he'll think, well, I'm up, so I'm going to do it, and it's going to hit.
All right.
And he's just going to walk out of the casino, bring my car around.
Yeah, kind of angry. Yeah.
Right.
Have you ever had a Captain Crunch milkshake?
No.
I want to say we've actually made one here at the house. Because, it's pretty simple to do. You just add Captain Crunch to a milkshake.
Yeah.
But, that's my kind of thing.
I like Captain Crunch.
I do too. Cap'n Crunch, Mike.
Yeah,
Cap'n
I know.
Crunch, not
I know
Captain
what it
Crunch.
is.
It's interesting he's talking about Main Street Station. It is still closed. It's funny because Boyd's marketing department recently sent out an ad for Main Street Station, kind of like, come on back to Main Street Station. But it's still closed.
Maybe they're waiting for the people to get there before they open.
Oh, maybe they're waiting. How many people are at the door, Jim?
When there's a line out front, we're opening. You know what I like? Fruit Loops.
Yeah, I like Fruit Loops.
Fruit Loops. They're good in a shake, too.
Yeah, that would be good. I don't think they're as good as Captain Crunch. Now, the best cereal of all time is Quisp. And you know that I stand by that.
You stand by that.
In fact, right behind you, I've got a little Quisp bobblehead, right?
Right.
It's still the best cereal of all time.
I'll tell you what.
Captain Crunch will do, since it's hard to get Quisp.
Recently, I had some chocolate mint ice cream with Girl Scout Thin Mints.
Oh, yeah, I've seen it. Yeah.
That was good.
That was good?
That was good, yeah.
Right.
I waver on my favorite ice creams. I mean, I go through streaks, and then I eat just that one for weeks.
Sure.
Then I go to something else, kind of like the way I play craps. That's the way I eat my cereal and my ice creams, too.
I wish that, one of the greatest things about Foxwoods, when we found out this was the case, we were at a craps table, and somebody there said, why don't you order a milkshake? It's
right.
Like, what?
Yeah, they brought milkshakes.
Boy, I wish they had that at Harrah's. Can you imagine? Yeah. We get those virgin strawberry daiquiris and pina coladas. And those are
it's
good.
like an icy. It's like an icy.
Those are good. But
those
man,
are good.
just actually getting a shake at the table.
I'll tell you what. Any casino should serve milkshakes. If people found that out, people all day would be getting milkshake during the day. I mean, maybe not at night they're going to have milkshake, but during the day, bring me a milkshake. Especially in Vegas when you've just, had to walk across the street in 112-degree temperatures.
Right.
You need a milkshake.
Yeah, I agree. I guess I would say if you order a milkshake at the table, make sure that it's either the hotel you're staying at in case you need to run to the room real quick. Just FYI.
Right.
Yeah.
Or don't do it if you're lactose intolerant.
I think that's what I was getting at, actually, Dr. Mike. But thank you for putting a fine point on it. All right. Next up is Mike.
Hey, guys. It's Mike from West Central Indiana again. Got a question. I've got a trip planned for Father's Day weekend. I'll take my wife and 2 of my children and my mother and father-in-law and take them down for Father's Day weekend. Got my hostess to get me a couple of joining rooms and get the kids set up so we can have a nice little short family weekend vacation down there, and I can still shoot some dice. So anyway, the question is, I tend to tip fairly well. I always do a $5 pass line with $10 odds my first time up to the table, and follow that up with pretty consistent two-way hard ways, high on the point when applicable. And if the table's doing well, I play $5 pass line bet with usually $5 or $10 odds every 2 or 3 rolls for the crew. If it's not doing well, it's every 5 or 6 rolls. Anyway, I never see anybody else token quite like that. Most of the time, I don't see anybody token at all. I just wondered if anybody else was noticing that COVID just had people not token anymore, or if it's just Caesar Southern Indiana. And when I see it, I tend to end up toke betting more, almost like guilt myself into to taking up for everybody else's slack. Anyway, like I said, I just wanted to see if you guys have noticed a trend in downward in token at your guys' tables. And also I've noticed that especially when it's cold for tokes like that, the more I toke, the better my AGT is. So that they're rating me way, way higher. A couple hours later, I'll check my account or whatever and notice that I've got way more tier credit earning for that session than what I typically would get. So anyway, love the show. Just was curious what you guys thought about that. We'll look forward to next show. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Mike's a good man.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, that's great tipping. Yeah. Almost all of our craps play since the reopening has been at Harrah's Southern California. Yeah, you and I made some separate quick Vegas trips, but all we can go on is our experience at Harrah's, and there's so many regulars. Have you seen a change in the tipping?
Not really. I think craps overall, people tip less than...
Well, that's true anyway,
than other games.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen a decrease in tips. And you'll find certain players always tip.
Right.
And then you'll find people... I mean, there are people out there who are regulars, real nice people, but never tip.
Yeah,
I mean,
sure.
I never see them tip. So, yeah, it probably hasn't changed. It doesn't take a lot to tip a dealer, really. Yeah. People always think, "Oh, I got to put $5." No, you don't. You can put $1.
Yeah,
they're more than happy with that.
Yeah. So, is there less tipping kind of out there in Vegas, other casinos? We can't say at this point. We just haven't gone, anywhere really since the reopening. So,
I imagine it has a lot to do with people's, how things are going in their life, how their funds are and how their work is. Yeah. And so this could be a hard time for a lot of people.
Yeah, it could be, right? As far as losing their job for, permanently or for a short period.
Or just worried about possibly losing their job. So I've got $500 for this Vegas trip. I'm not going to blow it. And so that could have something to do with it.
Yeah, could be. All right. Next up is Dan.
Hey, good day. This is Dan from Maryland. Hey, I had a pretty good weekend, but it ended on a sour note and just wanted to get your guys' thoughts on it. I played a 2-day poker tournament at Maryland Live, and actually we did a 10-way chip chop. For, my share was about $13K, so I felt like I could go play some craps live at the table because I normally don't have the bankroll for that. So I bought into a table for $500. It was a $50 table. It's all they had on a Sunday night at 10 o'clock. The first roll, 7'd out. Second roll, I played 1 point with single odds and then placed the 6 and 8. And then when they hit, I pressed them up since it was a $50 table, increments of $12 each. Then I 7'd out. And then the next roll, this is my question for y'all. I asked the dealer to take my 6 and 8 back down to $60. And he looked at me straight-faced and said, "Why you want to do that?" And, I just got done playing, 20 hours of poker over 2 days. Don't really play much live craps. And I felt like telling that guy, just shut up and give him my money back. But I don't know if that's just part of the game of craps, where they talk you into not taking money down or whatever. But, I didn't like it. Should I be upset? Is that part of the game, or did they, cross the line? I don't know. I'm new to craps, so I figured I'd ask you guys. Have a good day. Bye.
No, that's not part of the game.
No, and it would upset me. I'd have been mad, especially if I don't know the dealer.
Oh, exactly right. And that seems like the case here. And the way that he said it, why would you want to do that? Like he's chastising you,
right?
At
Southern Cal here, the dealers were on a more friendly relationship. And sometimes they'll say something like, "Oh, Mike, don't you want full odds?" when I didn't take full odds or something.
Yeah.
And I just laugh. "Oh, no, I'm okay with that." I don't get upset about that because I know their intent, they're looking out for me.
Well, sure. I think your example is quite a bit different because
Right.
they're kind of looking out for you, like you said.
Right.
But this sounds like a case of a dealer saying, "You don't know what you're doing, sir. Let me tell you how to play the game of craps."
This is a guy being a jerk trying to play craps with your money.
Yeah.
And I hate that. It's a big pet peeve of mine.
Yeah. So Dan, you were justified in being kind of put off by the whole encounter. Yeah.
Yeah, you take your money and leave at that point.
Yeah. All right. Next call.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is Charlie from Cedar Rapids, Iowa. I want to give a quick trip report from staying at downtown Grand, Las Vegas. First note was that the taxis and Ubers seem to be pretty comparable now in terms of availability and cost, at least based on my experience, from the airport and going around town. But staying at the Grand was lovely. The room had a lot of space. Craps table dealers were friendly. The table was always $10, day or night. Managed to come out ahead for the trip, betting and hitting some timely hard ways. The Freedom Beat restaurant on site was pretty good, and you get a lot of discounts just for having the Grand Member Rewards card. But as a lot of people know now, live music is back on Fremont, and it's as awesome as everybody remembers. The whole environment was pretty incredible. I mean, especially with the Golden Knights winning the last 3 games against the Avalanche now. We did make a quick stop to the new Mohegan Sun Virgin Casino, and it was predictably dead like crap. For a little bit, it was probably the most unexcited table I've experienced in a while. The dealers couldn't have cared less that I was there. Didn't care what was going on. We did eat at the Casa Calavera Mexican restaurant on site. That was pretty good, but I don't expect to go back there anytime soon. Maybe ever. But it was a great trip overall, and hopefully I'll be back for what would be my 4th trip in 2021. But thanks for the podcast, fellas.
So again, we're hearing things, not so good about Mohegan Sun / Virgin it being dead, and that could explain, dealers that aren't very cheerful, right? Nobody's in there, and they're worried about, gee, are we going to make it?
Although if I was the casino manager, I would have a talk with all the staff and say, look, if it's not busy, the people who do come in here, they've got to be put on a pedestal.
Yeah.
We've got to treat them nicely so they'll come back and maybe tell their friends, and maybe we'll eventually be busy, but we need to, be friendly. I mean, you don't cheat for them, but also, be friendly and be, engaging and say, hey, where are you from? And, start a conversation and stuff. Just sitting there and pretending like they don't even exist. Yeah. That's not going to get you more business.
Yeah. The employee culture, in any business is important, but boy, especially at a casino,
especially at a casino,
you, as a business, you're trying to get people to lose their money, come in and give you their money. And so you need to have great customer service.
Hey, FYI for all you casino execs out there, if you don't understand this, when the guy loses and walks away and feels like, hey, I had a good time there, I'm going back.
Yeah.
That's your customer. And the way to make him feel like that is to treat him properly, engage him, make him feel like, even though I lost my money, I'm going to go back. Not the other way, not like I lost my money, I'm never coming back to this place, and I'm going to, call the You Can Bet on That podcast and say I didn't enjoy it.
Yeah, well, I think a recent caller to 500 by Midnight talked about how he went to Ellis Island.
Right.
And ended up losing and had such a good time that he didn't care. He had nothing but great things to say about the staff and everything going on in there.
And that's how a casino should be run.
Yeah. I'll tell you, Mike, we recently found out that they no longer have 100 times odds at the Cromwell. And we've had some good experiences there with dealers, some great ones, but we've also had some where it's like, hey, they don't even care that you're there.
Right.
A lot of those kind of recently.
Right.
So now that they've gone back to just 3, 4, 5 times odds, which is pretty standard on the Strip, I don't know that that's going to be a place that I'm really anxious to get back to.
No, why would you? Yeah. I mean, especially if you're not staying real close there.
Yeah.
If you're staying, let's say you're at Caesar's Palace, why are you going to walk down to Cromwell for 3, 4, 5?
Yeah.
I want to get treated rude, I can stay at Caesar's.
That's right. That's right. And they've got more tables.
Yeah, they've got more tables. There's plenty of rudeness to be spread around there.
That's right. And then, Downtown Grand, we kind of mentioned it last time. It's like, it's not our absolutely have to go to place, but we end up there almost every trip when we're downtown. It's like, oh, yeah, let's go to Downtown Grand.
Right.
And again, we stayed there once and it was great.
Yeah, and for whatever reason, and I got to go, I always hark back to management. Owning my own business, it all comes down to whoever's running the show.
Yeah.
Somebody there is doing a good job. The dealers are always friendly. They're always engaging. They're always nice, and you always seem to, have a good time. So,
yeah. All right, one last call. Here's David.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is David from Northern California here. Since you called out the Davids last time on your show, thought I'd call in and leave a message. Mark, thanks for always responding to my emails even when they get really long. I should have taken your advice to my last email for calling a host to change my current reservation. That $600 free play offer disappeared from my wife's offers online when Vegas demand started rising these last few months. We still at least have our comp room and are heading out to Vegas tomorrow. It's our first time in a year and a half and excited to be back. Thanks again for being awesome, and we'll try to call back with the trip report after. Bye.
Oh, good. Yeah, call us back and good luck on your trip. David emailed us. He had already reserved a comped room at Planet Hollywood. And later he saw that he had a better offer that included a bunch of free play. And he had asked us, would he have to cancel his current reservation to take advantage of this new one? And I said, yeah, you basically do.
Usually you do.
Cancel. And I had suggested that maybe he contact a host, because a host can usually look at it real quick and, oh, yeah, let me switch that over so that, maybe technically it's a different reservation, but, take care for it. But it sounded like he didn't jump on it and then the offer was gone. So, yeah, absolutely. If you do see a better offer, go ahead and cancel the one that you have. As long as the new offer really is better, and try to take advantage of the new one and have a host do it for you if you're able to.
And I think the host would be more than happy to do that, because once again, if it's run right, they want to make people happy, and you get a better offer, and you go home and tell your friends, hey, I went there and they gave me a better offer. It's like a supermarket that matches coupons from another place, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they want your business, and the way to get it is to treat you right.
Yeah.
So
that's the theme of this episode, I guess.
Yeah. Treat us right and we'll be at your door.
Yeah, there you go.
Literally.
Ooh, that's going to do it for this episode. We want to thank some people for some recurring PayPal donations. Kurt, Robin from Anytime Gambling, Justin, and Nathan. Thank you once again for those recurring donations. We also got a donation from Samuel. He says it's a karma donation for a Vegas trip June 16th through June 20th. So that's just starting right now.
Now. Good luck.
Good luck. Also from our buddy Andrew, he says it was great seeing you both this weekend. Wanted to send a karma donation for upcoming Vegas trip this summer. Hope to see you both soon. Thanks for the podcast. And Andrew, it was great seeing you.
Yeah,
too.
We had a great time.
Yeah, good timing. Yeah. And finally, a donation from David. He says, my last donation must have worked. Had a winning trip to Vegas and a couple nice craps rolls. Headed back this weekend for 360 Vegas Vacation 10. Oh, yeah, good luck that to everybody who's going to that. That's coming up this week, and unfortunately, we're not able to make it. But good luck to everybody on that trip.
I hope they all do well and have a good time.
Yeah. Hey, be sure to check out our TV listing showing all the gambling-related shows coming up within the next 2 weeks at youcanbetonThat.com/TV-listings and our list of gambling-related movies at youcanbetonThat.com/movies. We'd love to hear from you. Call our voicemail hotline at 951-292-4377. That's 9512-WAGERS.
9512-WAGERS.
Or you can email us at youcanbetonThat@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Twitter at YouCanBetOnThat and on Facebook at facebook.com/YouCanBetOnThat. Finally, please go to your favorite podcast app and write a review of the show. We love getting your feedback. Well, Mike, the U.S. Open is this weekend, and it's right here in our backyard.
Right
Torrey
here.
Pines.
Well, it started today with the practice round today.
Yeah, and Mississippi Rob in particular wanted to know if you've got some advice on the tournament.
I'll tell you what. I liked Jordan Spieth because when they played the Farmers Open back in February, beginning of February,
at Torrey Pines,
right, he seemed to handle that course really well and did well. At the time, I was thinking, well, when they come back for the Open, I think Jordan Spieth's the guy to beat.
Okay.
Now, he's hurt his ankle in the meantime. He had some kind of ankle sprain or something. He's still playing, but his ankle's hurt, so I don't know. Maybe that'll affect him, maybe it won't.
Okay.
But I'm still going to go with him.
All right.
And, of course, I'm going to go with Phil Mickelson.
Yeah, sure.
Because
Hometown
he's
boy, yeah.
hometown boy and everything. And you know who I'd really like to see win,
Who's that?
but it's probably not going to happen, is Ricky Fowler.
Okay.
Because he's a hometown boy too,
Yeah, mhm.
and he's always on the verge. He's just never pushed it all the way through. I'd love to see that. Now that's my hometown rooting.
Yeah,
stuff.
okay, all right.
Okay, so but there's a lot of great contestants. I mean, I'm just hoping that Brooks Koepka and Bryson DeChambeau, get matched up at some point together in the same group. I'd love to see that. That would be great. That's what golf needs. Some kind of like two guys wrestling in the middle of a fairway.
That's right. All right, back to 15, and you can see there's a
little scuffle that's broken out on the fairway at 15. Oh, they're over into the pit. They're in the pit.
That's right. Sand everywhere. Oh, I think it got in their eyes.
Golf needs that. Golf needs characters.
Yeah, you should be allowed to check in golf.
Yeah,
it's right in the middle of a swing. Just
there should be a Ninian.
Anyway, great to have the Open back in San Diego. Anything else, Dr. Mike?
I'm not even going to mention the Padres, Mark.
Don't talk about it.
They've lost 13 out of 17 games. They're 4-13.
You said you weren't going to mention it.
Oh my God! It's like an arrow through my heart, Padres. What are you doing to me?
All right. Thanks for listening.
Good night.
El Cajon? That's the anus of San Diego.